Hey everybody, it's a beautiful mid-November day here in the high desert of New Mexico, and we're in the upper 50s. And with our intense sunshine, upper 50s may sound cold to those of you who don't live here, but it is beautiful. You can see the leaves are starting to change, but we've had such warm temperatures. So today we're going to do a project outdoors, and it's repotting this bamboo plant. I've had this for several years. You can see it's in a very small pot. And unfortunately, there were some days that I forgot to keep it wet. So there's a couple of stalks that have died. So we're going to repot this. So I have a new pot that's a couple inches bigger. I have some river rocks that I'm going to use. And it may not be enough for this project, but I have other rocks because I live in the high desert that I can fill in the bottom that you won't see. So we're going to get started. We've got to take out these dead stalks, and I don't know if this is normal, but I can tell you when bamboo rots like that or dies, it stinks. So I definitely want to get rid of those. I think this one stalk is going to come out pretty easily because it's pretty rotted. The other one I may have to cut out. So I'm going to have to take this out of the pot to get this other one out. Oh, so here's a surprise. I actually thought these were growing only in water with rocks. I didn't realize this was in soil. I've had this for many years. I bought it at a big box store. And so that changes the way I want to repot this. If this was only growing in water and rocks, I would have repotted it in the same medium of rocks and water, because it's become accustomed to that. But now that I know it's in soil, I'm going to use rocks and soil. This plant was also sitting in a plastic cup that had holes in the bottom for drainage. So we're going to remove that, and we're going to take off all of this soil and kind of loosen up the roots. I'm doing it over this pot so I don't make a mess. You can see they just had rocks on the top, which fooled me because I thought it was just rocks all the way down. So, like I said, we will repot this in soil since it is used to growing in soil. Just going to clean this up a bit. Not completely. I'm not going to rinse the roots. I'm just going to kind of open them up and remove the old dirt. I'm turning it over because there are rocks that are in between. There's actually a cup. This is kind of how they train these to different shapes, is they use pipes and they use wire. So we're just going to tease these roots a bit. I don't want to damage them. Just get them a little open so that I can pull out the old dead stalk. So I had to go get my cactus mix, potting mix for this task. So this is what bamboo should be in. It shouldn't be in heavy soil. It should be in some light, loose soil. I've got my pot that's larger than my other one, about 2 inches larger, and I'm going to put some just simple gravel in the bottom to cover the bottom, probably up to about 1 inch or so. You can see how much is in there. And that is for drainage because I do not want the roots of the bamboo sitting in water. So if it ever gets too much water, it will drain to the bottom and it will be sitting on the rocks, and the water will be below the rocks, not having the roots sitting in them. All right, now for the next step, we're going to put our cactus blend potting mix on top of those rocks so that this bamboo will be growing in soil just like it has been for many years. Now, just like when you plant any other plant in a pot, you don't want to fill the top to with soil because you have to fit your plant in. These, you can see they have shallow roots, so I just need to make sure I have plenty of room to put the plant in the pot, and then I will backfill with some soil. All right, now that my pot's ready, I still need to get that one dead stem out of the roots. So I'm just gonna keep working at this and see what I can do. I had to go get my utility knife because, as you can see here, there is a strand, I don't know if it's tape or if it is actually a piece of plant material that's wrapped around this bottom area to hold it all together. They use lots of different implements to train bamboo to grow in certain shapes, and I don't know what this is. It feels like it's tape because it's pretty strong, but when you look at it, it almost looks like it's fibrous, like a plant leaf. But I am going to try to cut this gently, and I'm cutting it around the dead areas, so in case I nick something, I'm only nicking a dead part of the plant. But I've got to get that off first, and since this has been growing for a while, it's already trained down at the bottom. I don't need to put anything back on or keep that on. So there you go. There's that. And it looks like a leaf, but it's pretty strong when whatever it was. So now I should be able to easily pull out that dead piece, and there it goes. That was easy. And now for the second stalk. This one is not as rotted as the other one, so it's going to take me a little bit. So let's see what we can do. I'm going to see if I can cut it. Bamboo's pretty strong, and it's kind of awkward here. Don't want to cut anything else. But I'm going to see what I can do as far as cutting it with this utility knife. Not really working, so maybe I'll just try to pull it. Oh, there, it snapped at the bottom. We'll just slowly inch it out of the little twist ties that they have on. All right, there we go. Got it. All right, now that we've caused there to be a hole where those two branches were, I'm just going to try to ease these branches wider so it doesn't just look like it has a big hole. I'm not going to be able to get them as evenly spaced as they were, but it'll look better and they'll be a back of the plant. So I'm just going to ease these gently, open, and twist them. So there you go. There's the front. You can't even tell that the two are missing until I turn it around, and it looks better because I have actually widened them out a little bit. So it's not as noticeable. And now we're going to backfill with more cactus blend. We're going to go up to the bottom of the pot, almost to the bottom of the pot. We don't want to bury this too deep. I'm pressing this in, and remember, this is very dry soil right now, and it's cactus blend, so it's not meant to be moist. It's meant to be very loose. So the next step I will do is to slowly, gradually water it, and just do a little bit of water, let it soak in, a little bit of water, let it soak in. Now, you could do a stake right now to hold it, but I think it'll be fine once I get all the soil moistened and let it set in there and get it top dressed. I think it'll be fine. But if you needed to and you felt like you needed to do a stake, you could do a stake in there right now to hold it up. Before I do the watering, I'm actually going to clean the plant up a little bit. So you can see there are a couple of tips that are brown. So I'm just going to cut them. You can just cut them straight if you want, or you can make a nice little point on them. This one, I'll make a little point. But there's another one over here that I'm just going to cut the tip off. And that is just personal preference to make it look prettier. Now I'll begin slowly watering it in. So just water a little bit, let it drain in. Water just a little bit more and let it drain in. and you might have to keep doing this for a little bit. You don't want it to be waterlogged, but you're just trying to set that soil. And you will not water this way after this time. While that soaks in, I'm just going to clean up my mess, and I'm not going to touch it. All right, you can see it's leaning a bit, so I'm going to straighten it out gently, and I'm going to press the soil down firmly, but gently. I don't want to break anything. I don't want to disturb any roots. Just want to get it up straight. And then the next thing I'm going to do is top dress it with the river rocks. I'm tamping the rocks down just so that they're firmly set and the soil is intact with the rocks. This will also give me a little bit more of a lip when I'm watering. And there we go. There's what it looks like. You'd never know that there were any dead branches in there ever. So now we're going to take it inside and I'll show you where I keep it. I actually keep it in my bathroom. 2 reasons. There's a little more humidity there. And again, if you don't live in the high desert, you probably don't realize our bathrooms don't fog up like normal other humid places do, but it does get some humidity. But I also keep it in there because I go in there every day and it reminds me to water it. Now, I don't know if I showed you this before, but I was telling you about all the implements they use to train these. So you can see this pipe, this gray pipe that's in the center, and that's another way that they use to train these to different shapes. And this down here is a wire ring that they've used to train on the bottom. So if you ever want to try it yourself, there's what they use. Now let's head inside. Here it is in my bathroom. I have this lovely ceramic pot that I bought many years ago, and I just have stones in the bottom of it, and I have the pot sitting on top of the stones, and then I've added some really beautiful stones from my yard on the top of that. I hope you've enjoyed today's video. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.